Hey everybody, this is Dr. Maples, and I got all dressed up today to talk about one of my favorite topics, and that's community colleges. I want to give you 5 reasons you should consider going to a community college. I can tell you, community colleges are an amazing experience, and they're an excellent way to get things started, and they might be the perfect fit for you. Now, before we get started, I do want to say I appreciate if you'd subscribe to this channel. Always makes me happy when I look at my phone in the morning and see a couple extra subscribers. Likewise, if you got a video idea, leave it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it. And finally, share this video on social media. You got a family member or a friend thinking about going to college? Send this their way. Let them know that community colleges might be the right fit for them. All right, we got a lot to do today, so let's get started. First things first, what qualifies me to talk about this video? Well, I'll tell you what, not only am I a college professor today with about 10 years of teaching experience, but I am the product of a community college. I started at Pellissippi State Community College, and I went there for a couple of years on and off, getting some college credits and building up to eventually transferring to the University of Tennessee to finish my bachelor's, master's, and PhD. I'm here to tell you, if I hadn't gone to Pellissippi State, I'm not sure I ever would have gone to college. Being able to go to that community college environment, which was supportive and relaxed and also very small, which was important to me, really helped me develop as a person, as a scholar, and it made me into what I am today. So I am living proof that you can do anything you want and still go to a community college from the start. It's a great way to consider starting your degree, and frankly, it changed my life. So I'm a big advocate for community colleges, but don't let that get in the way. Let's look at 5 reasons I think you should think about going to a community college. First one, be honest with yourself. Are you ready? I mean, are you really ready for a 4-year program? You know, high school is great and all, but if you didn't do so well in high school, like this guy, you should probably consider a community college. The great thing is if you're not a great student, community college can teach you the basics, and it's a really low-risk place to do it because you don't have to worry about your GPA because that won't transfer over to your eventual university or destination if you're getting a 4-year degree. If you're a first-gen student like I was, community college is great because the faculty hold your hand quite a bit, and it's so small that basically you can walk into the main office of the campus and there will be there people that can help you. I remember for advising, I used to just walk into their main office and say, can somebody tell me what classes to take? And the secretary would be like, oh, sure, come over. And she would build my entire schedule for me. Now, granted, that was a few years ago, and I'm not going to say how many, but it was a few. Let me just say that, being a Gen Xer, alternative music was still very hip when I was going to community college. But they would help me, and that's the thing that I still see at community colleges today. They know people need a little extra hand-holding, and it's a great place for them. One of the things, too, that I love is that if you're not a strong student, and you're not even sure you should go to college, you can still start at a community college. You don't have to worry about a lot of cost in it, but you can get your associate's degree, a 2-year degree, and stop. And, you don't have to get a 4-year degree. Now, if you go to a college, you're kind of in it for a 4-year degree unless they offer an associate's, and a lot of places don't. So you can go in there, you can get your 2-year, and then you can walk away. And hey, you change your mind later, you can always come back. You can transfer to another college, get your degree, whatever you want to do. Which actually, that's what I did. I left the community college for a couple of years, went into the professional world, and eventually went back to college. So there you go. This is a first great reason. If you're not a strong student, I wasn't, sorry. You can get started at a community college, and it washes away a lot of those sins. Actually, big part of community college too is that frankly it is just a lot cheaper. When we think about universities, you can go into tens of thousands of dollars a year in tuition fees. Board rooming is even more. Your books, don't get me started on textbooks. It's a lot of money. Community college, you can control a lot of those costs. There's likely a community college close enough to where you live right now that you can go there. You don't have to move there. There's no expectation to live on campus. You could still do anything you need to do, like a part-time or even a full-time job, and still be a student. It's always going to be cheaper. In fact, it can be substantially cheaper. And what I've also seen too is that community colleges are a great way to take a whole bunch of class hours, like 60 or so, and transfer them to a university to get a 4-year degree. You get your first 2 years at a much cheaper rate, a couple thousand, and then $1 maybe per year. It depends on the community college, but then you transfer that over to a university that you can finish your 4-year degree. It might be more expensive, but you've saved a lot of money in the process. You might even be able to get some scholarships along the way that'll help you with that process. And the cool thing is, too, is if you decide it's not for you, you can still get that associate's degree and you never have to worry about transferring. Here's another thing. If, like me, you were missing some remedial courses, mathematics, if you were missing some remedial courses like I was, a community college washes away a lot of those remedial sins. I took all of the basic remedial math that I was missing from high school in my community college. And I don't mind saying it took me a couple of tries to get that course passed and out of the way. But the thing is if I'd started at a regular college, I would have been taking those classes and they would not have counted towards my degree. That's right, they're remedial, which means you have to catch up some basic math stuff from high school before they'll even let you get math credits. And in some cases, like with language courses, that could be a year of taking extra classes that you don't get any credits for, but you have to pay top dollar for. Community college is great for that. You can get those same classes for cheaper. You get supportive faculty, often smaller classes, and they transfer just the same to that college, the university up the street. So it's a perfect thing. And one cool thing is that most universities don't count your transfer GPA. They look only at the courses that you take at that university. So if you get C's on a couple of courses in community college, that's okay, because when it transfers over, they don't consider the grade in your actual GPA for the university. And that varies by case-to-case scenario, so be sure to check in on that. You know, one last thing is there's often people that say, well, but wouldn't you get a better class at the university? I mean, I got to be honest with you. There's only so many things that you talk about in a basic remedial math class. And frankly, it's going to be pretty much the same, if not identical, at the community college, at the university, wherever you might go. Same thing goes for so many of those gen ed classes that make up the first half of your 4-year degree at a college or university. Why not get them cheaper at the community college? A couple more things. Are you going to be working full time? Be honest with yourself. You always do that thing where you're like, oh, I'm going to work some, Look, if you're working 40 hours a week or anywhere near that, it's going to be hard to be a college student full time. You might want to consider going to community college because they'll have night classes. They will be more flexible with you. You might just take a couple of classes at a time. In fact, when I was working, I actually just took a couple of classes a semester. I had my employer had this great program that they would pay for part of my tuition. So I was taking like 2 or sometimes 3 courses a semester and just filling in little blanks of what I was going to need to transfer up to the university. So you can be a full-time employee, take a couple of classes, take night classes, whatever you need to do. One other cool thing about community colleges is that they're built around non-traditional learners like me, people who might be working, people who are first-gen students, and often people who might be even older than the usual college demographic. So they're going to be more supportive. They're going to know that you have a life outside of college. It's just a more supportive environment. They might even have a support group that could help work with you. One more thing, and this one is actually for my high school students. If you're in high school, you can actually enroll in community college. I know. Is that crazy or what? And don't get me wrong, high school is hard enough. But truly, I have met some really smarter than me, high school students who have an entire associate degree when they graduate from high school. They take night classes, they take extra courses, they just take the stuff and they do it online, or they'll drive over in the afternoons and evenings, takes the classes, and they get the credits. And it's an amazing thing because if you're one of those people that doesn't want to spend a lot of time in college and your life schedule would allow you to take some extra classes while you're in high school, do it. It's an amazing thing. It gets you through quick. All those classes will transfer to any college that you want to go to. Heck, you could just get your associate's degree and be done. So think about that. If you're in high school and you might add some extra community college classes, you graduate a lot faster, you can figure out if college is for you. Hey, you might even just get a couple and realize, okay, I'm ready. I want to go to the big university. And it'll be just fine because now you've already got the college experience behind you. These are just a couple of the reasons that I suggest community college, and honestly, I could list 15 more. In fact, if you'd like me to do another video on that, I'll be happy to talk about some more reasons that I suggest going to a community college. There's nothing wrong with going to a 4-year university or college from the start. But if you're like me, a first-gen student who was not strong in high school and wasn't really sure even if college was the right thing for you, consider community college. It is a great start. It's a great place for you to begin your time. I do want to take a time out and dedicate this video to someone very important in my life, my Aunt Barbara, who actually paid for my first semester of community college, and actually I think the semester after that too, to help me get on my path. So without her helping me get started at Pellissippi State, who knows where I would be now. So thanks, Aunt Barbara, if you're watching this. I love you, and I appreciate you so very much. You truly changed my life. All right, everybody, if you got questions about community colleges, if you got questions about if it's right for you, leave them in the comments below. I love talking about community colleges, even though I don't work for one. I think they are one of the most amazing things that we have in the educational system here in the United States, and I think we need to use them more often than ever. So if you got questions, leave them comments below. And if you're in high school and you're thinking about community colleges, go talk to your guidance counselor. They can give you a whole bunch of help. All right, that's everything for today, folks. I will see you next time. Take care.